Hello, welcome to my backyard. I am here by myself for now, and before I start speaking and talking, and I would like to say first and foremost, thank you, thank you, thank you. I had a friend who wished to remain anonymous, who made a donation, and I am very, very, very grateful. It's very just even the thought, was very like heartwarming. I told him that if I could cry, that I'm crying inside, and if I could cry, I would. But I just can't physically cry because I've cried too much in my life. So I think like my tear ducts are like, I don't know. Well, no, sometimes during some movie scenes, I will shed a tear. Like if it's like a dramatic movie, and it gets to a point where like a protagonist or main character dies, I will shed a tear. And I might just shed one right now, just thinking about the fact of how kind this individual was, and I'm very, very grateful. That will help me towards my doctor visit and my prescription refill. I'm still in the process of applying for the social service, because we live in a socialist environment. Yeah, they want us to think that socialism is bad, but yet it's existed here since forever. No, I'm still in the process of applying for Medicaid. I've been seeing a lot of ads on this when I'm talking to you guys right now. Oh, the government wants to give you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month as long as you don't have Medicaid and you're under 65. What? That is a fucking joke. If you go to the emergency room, just a visit costs like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And if you go to doctors, because essentially, if you get, let's say, I think the total is like $1,500, $2,000, which is already a joke in itself. But what good is $1,500, $2,000 if you don't have, if you're in bad health? What good is any amount of money if you're like not doing well or terminally ill or you have a chronic disease? You can't enjoy that money. So essentially, in my opinion, it's foolish. And that's one of the things you're not allowed to have Medicaid. I'd rather take Medicaid over $1,500 cash monthly every day, all day, every day, because I got my doctor to go to, and if I had health insurance, I would be able to go to other doctors as well too, not just my psychiatrist, who, if by chance the office is seeing this, she told me to take a class. I came down to two things that I would like to learn. One is a language. The other one is more formal professional education. I would like to learn how to speak German. I mean, it really should be Chinese, but stepping stone. German would be easier for me. And then for formal education, I would like to get a doctor of medicine for to be a, what's that name? The biggest organ in the body? Dermatologist. I've always wanted to be a dermatologist, but then when I found out what they did, I was like, I'm good. But then I saw a segment on the show called Tosh.0, which just aired its final season. because Comedy Central wants to focus now on comedy, on cartoons. But nonetheless, he did a segment with this dermatologist. Her and her husband are both practicing dermatologists, and when she talks about it, and she kind of like makes it seem like it's, it's like not a big deal, like it's, just a part of, it's just normal. And she normalized it to the point where I said, you know what, it's not, I don't think it's as bad. I don't think anymore that it's as bad as it is, because I know dermatologists, like, like when someone has like a big thing that they got to cut open, it'll smell like gym socks, and like, it'll smell nasty. And some of those things that they pop, and all this stuff comes out. When you talk about it without like context, it really sounds nasty. But essentially, it is, you are helping others, get rid of whatever it is that they have on their skin that they're not comfortable with, or maybe it might be something that eventually it'll become malignant. I don't know. But yeah, dermatology is the only profession, the only MD profession that has ever caught my attention. They have the coveted hours. They don't have to come in for emergencies, none that I believe. I don't think a skin graft, with a skin graft, yeah, I'm not sure. But usually they don't have to come, cause normally when you're an MD, you always have to have a phone on you in case you get called in. But I think dermatologist is one of the ones that you don't really get called in. Another one is not an MD, but it's an OD. They don't get called in either. I worked for an OD for a long time. And he said that was one of the reasons why he wanted to get into that field, so that he could just work his 9 to 5, go home, and call it a day. So it's pretty cool. I already even thought of my schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, like 9 to 7 or something. And then Wednesday, 9 to 1, Saturday, 9 to 1. That's my schedule. Okay. But moving on. I know I already said thanks, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really helps. And it's just heart moving that, I'm just very, very grateful. I mean, I'm grateful, and I'm just grateful just to be able to be, remain in contact with, at least a few, like 2 or 3 people in my life, and this being one of them. And just the fact that, they were able to make that sacrifice, because, nowadays everybody's going through a lot with this hyperinflation and cost of living rising everywhere. I mentioned in one of my videos that even people here in the States that work, and they work entry-level jobs, they have to live off of welfare. You cannot work an entry-level job, pay your rent, and then pay your bills. You have to receive some type of subsidy from the government, whether it be the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or whether it be maybe Section 8 housing, something to that effect. And you're working full time. And then if you work 2 jobs, it's like you're not really living a life. You're just working, so it's like, what has this economy become? A McDonald's CEO makes more in 1 year than a regular McDonald's employee will make in their whole lifetime. I mean, it in my opinion, it's disgraceful. It's just straight up disgraceful when these big companies, when they get these subsidies from the governments, like when they get bailed out, they one of the first things they do, all the CEOs, they receive these big bonuses, these big raises, raises or whatever. Do they really deserve that? As opposed to like the person that's working. You got these billionaires. I think Warren Buffett's one of them. Elon Musk is probably another one. They don't get paid a salary. All of their wealth is in stock. So essentially, it's just paper. So at the end of the year, they could pay themselves like $1, and so they pay less taxes than their own secretary or than their own employees, because all of that stuff is non-taxable. And when they want to make when they need some money for whatever, spending money, I saw a video on this the other day. They'll go to a bank and they'll say, hey, I've got $200 million worth of stocks in Tesla. This is just an Elon Musk case. I mean, there's a lot of other them out there. Would you guys wanna give me a loan? Yada yada yada. And what bank is gonna say no to a loan? To give somebody a loan of $200 million. And how the video said, he could say less, but why? He might as well just say a big number, the way they automatically say no. And the interest that it earns them, the 8%, he could essentially just live off of that. And I think that money that he borrowed, I don't think he had to pay taxes on it. So, it is what it is. That's capitalism for you. Some people do well, some people, if we have a 20% middle class, then that's about as good as it gets right now. I mean, it used to be a little bit more, I think. I used to be maybe like 40-50%, but now it's probably like 20% middle class. Then you got your 1%, and then you got your 0.1% or whatever. Those are the people that run the country. Those are the people that have the wealth, which in Spanish translates to power. And they're keen on keeping that power. Believe me, every election cycle, they show up. And they show up in numbers. You got the bribing that goes on in Washington, also known as lobbying. They just wanted to make a fancy term for it. That way it just goes over people's heads. But all it is just bribing. So these politicians, they get bribed so that they push the policies that are of the interest of the wealthy people. That way the wealthy people maintain their wealth, and it goes on through generations until maybe someone down the road messes up their whole, like whatever. I remember I've seen a lot like I said, I've been watching so much YouTube, that's why I haven't been recording. I probably left a couple comments here and there. And today is the 13th. Happy birthday to my nephew Sebastian. Happy belated birthday to his older sister Sophia. And I don't think you guys will see this, which is good, because my videos are not intended for really nobody except for the people that, maybe Karens and people that want to hate, I guess. Because that brings me to the next thing I want to do. I put up a video, not the one from today. I already said happy birthday to my cousin. Feliz día, sobrino. Okay. But I put up a video the other day, and I saw that it had some comments. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So I figured, why not? Let's read the comments out loud. Look at that. It's got 17 views. That's not bad. Alright, let's go to the video. If I recall correctly, it had approximately like 7 comments, which, if you're new to my channel, you know that that's a lot, because my channel is not really, it's just a vlog. It's not really, it's not supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be just for, I don't know, just because I'm doing it, and why not? I don't have any social media. Okay, first comment. It comes from at Kimberly Manalini 7597, 2 days ago. Alright, and it reads like this. You are 100% delusional. I would never choose to be there when I could be here. Now find other content to sell to your viewers. That one I think I read. That was one of the first ones, because I did reply. I said, I don't sell anything. As a matter of fact, I don't think I could ever apply for AdSense, but think what you will. And with the message you sent me in IRL, stay there all summer as long as y'all having a great time. Or not, just spend time with mom as long as you wish. I must have misunderstood you, saying something along the lines of you saying you wanted to come home now. It's too late and I don't want to look through the text. Good night. Okay, yeah, Kimberly is, we'll just say Kimberly. And then I said, also, if I am delusional, then I need professional help most likely. But I guess, I think I meant to say thanks for pointing it out. Yeah, we'll change that later. I think I meant to say thanks for pointing it out, because obviously I am delusional. I'm not going to speak about that person. I do know them personally, but I'll talk to her face to face. It doesn't feel right talking about her right here. Oh, all the other comments are mine. I thought they were other people's comments. It goes to show you, look where my mind is. I don't even remember leaving the comments. I was going to read the comments out loud, and they're all mine. Let's see what I said. I said, sorry, I have to make one more comment. You always say you never see your mom. I put that all caps. Now you have that beautiful opportunity. Is there something I'm not seeing here? I think that all stemmed from a convo that we had, if I remember correctly, where she said that, oh, I gotta come home now, like when I was having a convo with her, either through text or through, a call. And then I said, please, someone, anyone, enlighten me. And then I said, another comment by me. So they were all by me. Never mind. This thing proved to be... I said, can anyone please enlighten me on why my better half would want to cut her holiday short? I've never even left the house except once when Mama Vilma, that's my mom, took me to the Dollar Tree to buy Coca-Cola. I left today too. I went to Publix today to go get a pack of, cancer sticks. I've never even left the house except once. That was at that point when Mama Vilma took me to Dollar Tree to buy Coca-Cola. Well, once Mom took me, and the second time Dad took me. Okay, I guess I left twice. I've been home the whole time, literally sitting in the same spot on the couch, except when I'm cleaning. WTF. Oh, I got a reply. Oh, okay, there is one reply from at Kimberly Manalini 7597, 2 days ago. Ain't no person have to enlighten you on anything, because I have no clue where you are coming up with this. And it's an excrement that starts with a B. I'm guessing it's bull doodle. I want to come home. I want to come home. The Home Association allows a 2-week visit. I don't have a choice but to another exploitative or whatever. It sounds like the fudge word, but to fudge, come home. When my time is up here, I have to come home, but if I could stay here forever with my mom, I would in a second. I'm kind of odd how you are now referring to me as your other half. She thinks that I don't love her. That's been one of the things of lately. Oh, what can I do? I mean, I guess maybe I'm not good at showing someone that I love them, but I like to not think so. One thing that I am not is I don't like telling people that I love them, because then it kind of like takes away, like you tell somebody, oh, I love you, and then it just feels like, oh, okay, that's all you got to do. You just got to say you love them. I'm more of a person that I rather just show the person, through my actions, like whatever it is. But her and I go a little bit more personal. I'm not going to discuss about it, but I mean, we have a daughter, and she's she's a bright cookie. She's not an idiot. She's fully aware. She's got 2 eyes. She's got 2 ears. She sees everything that goes on in the house. Including like how I treat mom, and just in general. Yes, sometimes I am a little bit out of it, depending on the occasion, but not like out of it like I don't get drunk or anything, because I can't drink. I can't smoke pot. I smoke cigarettes. I can't do any of those things because I'm not allowed because of the medication that I take. So the other day, I'm not going to share any personal details because it feels like it would be like an invasion of privacy, so I'm going to treat that with respect. But I've gotten to the point where people want to say things, they want to act like a victim, they want to, try to like put things on me. I just get to the point where I don't even defend myself, because I mean, if something is not true, it's not true. Sometimes you do have to defend yourself, because people will defame you, like what is it? Not the derogatory, but like like they'll make you look bad or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, some people, they say so many things, and they and it gets to the point where like, yeah, and it's like you kind of like start almost second doubting what they say, because they talk so much. Okay, maybe I'm doing it right now. I mean, I started recording this really for 2 reasons. One, to say thank you to my buddy. Well, 3 reasons. 2, to say happy birthday to my niece and my nephew. And 3, because I want to show you guys this really cool pencil. It's brand new. It's been outside in the elements, but it's still got a little bit of gloss on it. It's got a full, it's a black eraser, and it's brand new. It's a pretty cool pencil. So yeah. So she's saying that she has to come home because homeowners have a 2-week policy. Come on now. What are they going to do? They're going to put a fine on her? They're going to probably give her a warning first. You can push that a little bit longer if you want. If you really want to. You don't have to, it's summer, for crying out loud. You don't get to see your mom that often. I would take it up with them. I wouldn't stand for that. And Kim is somebody who doesn't stand. If there's something that bothers her, she'll let it be known. Trust me. Even if it's to the point where it almost like makes other people uncomfortable, or it makes other people unhappy, because maybe she might start yelling, or she might just start like, I hate to say, but kind of like getting on people's nerves, Like, for instance, she has this thing where she starts talking to herself. So, And at first, you know, my parents would tell me, just don't listen to her, don't pay attention to a thing she has to say. But that's easier said than done. So what I devised was my own plan, which was whenever she starts talking to herself, which most of the time is like, you know, to be mean towards me, to like demean my character or whatever, I just start like trying to sing not any hymns that are popular or hymns, whatever you call it. I just sing songs of praise and worship that I make up on like, you know, kind of like freestyling. You know, I try not to do it. I try to do it under my breath so it doesn't bother anybody, and I try to do it like from the heart. That way, it's more like peaceful or thoughtful, um, and that way, even though she's talking to herself, and in the same time, you know, she's belittling me, I am essentially not listening to her because, you know, I'm singing songs of praise and worship, which is one of the best things that I like when from going to a service. You know, usually I go to Christian services. I don't know what kind of songs of worship they sing in like in that Muslim people sing. You know, people who practice Islam. But so that's what I started doing, and one day she even said to me, I'm not gonna get into it because this is personal, but she kind of like belittled my singing, and that got me a little upset because I wasn't singing anything about her. I wasn't singing anything about me. I was, really singing something that, I mean, I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect, obviously. So, and but when I do sing like that, it kind of like gives me a sense of like, when my medication stops working, that's the only thing I have left to do. And believe me, I'm taking like so many medications, but the one medication that, should be prescribed to me minimum every 6 hours, if not every 4 to 6 hours, they still want to give it to me every 8 hours, even though doctors I've known that have taken it have even said, oh, after 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to feel it. I read at least one medical book. I got to go to the Broward County Main Library, which is in conjunction with the Nova Southeastern Library. It's a beautiful library. If you've never been there and you live in Broward County, Florida, I recommend you go to it. It's probably, besides probably the Library of Congress, which I've never been, this is probably one of the most beautiful libraries I've ever been to. And I need to look it up because the benzodiazepine that I take, which is for anxiety and panic attacks, is a quick-acting benzodiazepine. Therefore, according to the medical book that I read, which honestly I was looking through it through Wikipedia, and it was linked to the fact of of the duration of the medication. That was the link that they had where they got that information from. I went to the link, I read the book, and it said that that medication I take, which is alprazolam, only lasts 6 hours. And the doctor that I had previous to the doctor that I have right now, he even told me himself, it's like after 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to feel it anymore. And that's completely true. That's why sometimes I run short of my medication, and then I'm stuck. I have to take, I still take the other ones that I take, and thank goodness for them, because, if it wasn't for those, I'd probably go crazy. I still take my, an antidepressant, which is allegedly supposed to be good for anxiety too. And I take a blood pressure medication, which a secondary use for it, because Mama Vilma gets it prescribed too, is for tremors and for anxiety. So, thank goodness that I have those as well, because if not, I don't know where I would be. Because, like I said, the medication that I get, all because that damn Sackler family had to, come up with a brilliant plan, which they did. What they did was brilliant. They got the whole United States addicted to opioids, which even though it's evil, it's a brilliant scheme in the grand scheme of things, considering that we live in a capitalist run society. This is not a democracy. This is capitalism. For those of you who are watching from abroad, don't be fooled. We'll say to the republic for which we stand. This is not a republic. This is not a democracy. This is called capitalism to the extreme, and that's what it is. So everybody out there, especially the people that, all these Cuban Americans, and I'm going to say this right now, they're all like, oh, something, Cuba. If you guys are so concerned about Cuba, why don't you go to your government officials and tell them to lift the sanctions from that small little island, which white Americans tried to take over at the turn of the century. In the turn into the 20th century. Some of the first founding leaders even said that Cuba would be a good addition to the United States. Okay? Because in case you guys don't know, and this is from what I understand, if anybody knows it differently, please correct me. The white Americans, including the mob, they all used to go there to vacation, right? And they loved it. It's a beautiful island. Beautiful. Everything there is beautiful. And what they did was they wanted to buy the land, right? From the people that owned it, the Cubans. And essentially what they wanted to do was buy the land, and then the people that they bought the land from, they wanted to have them work for them and work the land, but they no longer owned it. So everything that they reaped, everything that they sowed was reaped by the owner, which is essentially an American owner. And that's what the United States wanted to do. That's why when Che Guevara met with Fidel Castro, and they had that whatever combos that they had, that's when they started that revolution. They started a revolution because they didn't want to just become pawns of the United States of America, like the rest of, maybe a quarter of the Caribbean islands. And parts of South America too. And they wanted to be independent. And in order to do that, that's why Castro had to become a dictator in a sense. But he's not a dictator. He promoted socialism. In the beginning, it went very well, but things changed when the Soviet Union fell apart. The Soviet Union was the main country that endorsed like socialism, communism. And ever since Cuba refused to sell to the United States, their land, property rights, this and that, the United States has put an embargo, and they met with the rest of the nations in the world, and they made them all together say that there's an embargo against Cuba because they're communists or whatever, when in reality they're just socialists. So if you really care about the people in your country, what you need to do is you need to go to your local what are the people called that are I believe they're called commissioners. I forget what they're called, but then there's the people in the House of Representatives, there's the people in the Senate, and there's people that represent districts. You need to go to your local government, and you need to make phone calls to the senator. You need to make phone calls to whoever's in the House of Representatives, and you need to start telling them lift the sanctions off of Cuba, because that will make or break. Because in today's economy, it's all about networking, and you see it in action. You see it in play all the time. Was it last year or the year before when China said, oh, we're going to stop getting coal from or these natural resources from Australia? what did Australia do? They didn't sit down, oh no, what are we going to do now? No, they immediately went to other countries that needed the same supplies, and all they did was, instead of exchanging all, their natural resources with China, they exchanged it with other countries that needed it. And that's what global trade is all about. It's so that countries that have something that another country can specialize in doing it and will take half the time in doing it, can take those resources, make that, and then send them back over. Whatever. That way things, get done at a faster rate. Things become cheaper. Like right now, the Mexican economy is gonna bloom, if I'm not mistaken, because the cost of labor now is cheaper in Mexico than it is in China. In China, China is gonna eventually invade Taiwan. I hate to say it, probably by in like 4 or 5 years time. I just don't know how they're gonna plan to do it, because the problem is, if they try to invade with a military takeover, and it gets to the point where there's actually shots being fired, if infrastructure gets damaged, what I would say to Taiwan is this: since they're already building a semiconductor chip plant here in the States that's supposed to make the newest semiconductors, what they should do is they should have a fail-safe plan. And that fail-safe plan is just like how they say 9/11 was a job and we had bombs there, but essentially it was really the jet fuel that made it come down like that. What they should do is they should rig that semiconductor factory with explosives in case China ever comes and tries to invade the Taiwanese, the island of Taiwan. That building just crumbles to dust. And then the only other place where they can get those machines is from the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is not going to trade with a country that's invading another country. Okay? And all those Chinese people out there that are upset that I said that Taiwan is another country, you guys aren't watching me anyway, so, and if you are, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Have a beautiful and blessed Thursday evening. May peace and love be with every one of you. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.